Facing same old problems every day makes me wanna holler, go away. I need more peace and hope and love. Where do I find it in this crazy old world? Need strategies, strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio. Every time I listen, Lauren and David share strategies for living, and it makes me aware. I got strategies for living, strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio.
Oh, you know, we've all got them, and we all need them. Talking about strategies. Strategies for living, that is. Are you ready? You ready for your daily dose of radio rehab?
Oh, I'm ready.
Yeah, I think we all are. You know, after a while, you just need a dose.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. So, welcome, folks. Welcome into Strategies for a Living. I'm Dr. David McMillian. She is psychotherapist, PLPC Lauren Leon McMillian. And, you know, it was a song. Was it the 80s or the 90s? True Colors.
Yes.
Yeah. You remember the song?
Vaguely.
Must have been the 90s then.
Yeah.
I like that song.
Mm-hmm.
And I was reading an article the other day by Ava Sinclair in fromtheheart.com. Ava Sinclair is actually a former competitive athlete that transitioned into the world of mindfulness and wellness. And she writes some articles now that reflect her belief in the power of small daily habit changes to create change. And I found an article by her that was titled Situations, in fact, 7 situations in life where a person's true colors always come out, according to psychology.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a litmus test for authenticity.
Yeah. And so I thought we would share Ava's findings today and look at these situations that she says, are a guarantee that our true colors are going to come out.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I think there's some real value here, Lauren, because, we don't see ourselves, all of us have blind spots. We don't see ourselves as others see us.
Right.
But even beyond someone sharing with us, if you look at situations and you think about, okay, how would I respond? How would I react in a situation like that? That will help us raise our level of consciousness.
Absolutely.
And cut down on our blind spots. We'll tackle that today here on Strategies. Folks, thank you for tackling it with us, and we appreciate our sponsors making it all possible. The Robinson Film Center, Azalea Cleaners, Pintail Roofing, Learning RX, the Balanced Life Wellness Center, and Fertitas Delicatessen, home of the Godfather, Alligator Italian Sausage, and some pretty good Muffies, too. Back in a moment. What are some situations where a person's true colors come out? That's today on Strategies.
Tune in daily, find the light. Healthy mind and spirits bright. Strategies for living strong. Feel the vibe, it won't go wrong. Body moves and soul align. Catch the rhythm, feel the time. Radio rehab every day. Chase those clouds of gray away. Your daily dose of radio rehab. Lift you up when skies seem drab. Mind and body, spirits free. Living life in harmony.
And welcome into Strategies for Living. Lauren Leon McMillian, David McMillian. Glad you're with us. You know, here's the deal. We all of us, in terms of our personality, we're layered.
Absolutely.
So we have layers kind of like an onion.
You know, I think of it, we come into the world kind of almost a pure, I don't want to say personality, because the personality kind of becomes the layers that we pile on with the stories. But we come in a pure spirit, perhaps, with some inclinations and some preferences.
Yeah.
And then as we...
Some of us are implementers.
Yeah.
Some of us are people. Some of us are little sorters, and some of us are processors.
And I think we all come in geared towards some particular aspect of what it means to live life as a human, which kind of resonates with perhaps our purpose in this life. And then over time, as we get layered on with, we get dropped into a family, into a culture, into a larger society.
That sends us lots of messages, lots of stories, lots of beliefs, many of which we buy into without ever questioning.
And so that's where the onion part comes in. That's where all of the layering gets piled on.
You got to ask yourself, what is my true self, right? Mm-hmm. What's my true self? So psychology says, well, there are some key moments that really bring out a person's genuine self, genuine colors, cutting through pretense and really kind of showcasing who we are. And I think that's important for us to understand that and know that. Yeah. And so where do our behaviors and our responses and our reactions, where do they speak volumes about our character, right?
Yeah, most likely, most of the time, they come out greatest under pressure. Would be my guess.
Yeah, way more than our words ever could, because our words we're gonna describe ourselves as.
We can lie easily with our words,
and we will lie to ourselves more than we do to anybody else.
Sure.
Yeah. But these situations, there are some situations which we're going to talk about here that strip away our social mask and they bring out the raw. They bring out the raw, authentic self. And so we're going to take a dive into 7 unique situations and kind of explore why these things might serve as,
these environments might serve
as true, powerful indicators of our real nature, our true nature.
Okay. All right.
And so, what we want here is, this is not a judgment thing. Mm-hmm. We don't want you to judge anybody else or yourself, for that matter. It's just it's an opportunity to look.
Yeah, it's an opportunity for reflection.
Yeah.
I guess maybe
food for thought. Yeah. And whatever relationships we're in with significant others, people we work with, our kids, are our parents. Yeah. So some type of parenting relationship, or just personal growth, taking a closer look at what is it that makes me tick is a powerful thing. So one of the first things that can bring out your true colors are moments of conflict.
Okay.
Think about this. And we talk about this a lot here on Strategies. Conflict is just a part of life.
Yes.
But how we handle that conflict, that's one of the most revealing aspects of our true character. So, when the heat is turned up, how do I respond / react?
There it is.
I think there's a difference between those two. See?
Yeah.
I think
we have to be careful with labeling this even an area where it shows your true self Because what it does is, what conflict does actually, it's going to reveal where you're at
Right now.
Yeah, as a level of consciousness more than who you truly are. Because I think we have to be careful with, if someone reacts to conflict in a very harmful or hurtful way, which some people do. Right? What that's telling you is not that your true self is a harmful or hurtful or evil being. What it's telling you is
what's expressing right now.
Is that
where you're at now.
Right. And that if you are expressing hurtful or hateful things, you have to look at that. Where is that within your field? Where is that trigger
am I
coming
experiencing
from?
myself right now as hurt? Because we say often hurt people hurt people. Right. And so this is just I'm glad you're going there, Lauren, because again, we want to stay away from, as much as possible, with ourselves or with anybody else, judgment. Right.
Yeah.
But still, it's important to ask ourselves, okay, where am I now? Do I react or do I respond? Well, what's the difference between that?
Okay.
A reaction is almost immediately. It's like, I'm not going to engage thinking. I'm just coming back.
Yeah, it's like touching the stove and ripping your hand off.
Yeah. That's a reaction.
Yeah.
And that's appropriate when I touch a stove, right?
Right.
Might not be so appropriate in a parenting situation. Might not be so appropriate in a marital or personal, intimate relationship situation. Might not be so, good to do with your boss.
So, for instance, I think maybe a good example of an immediate reaction that I see often in couples to conflict is defensiveness.
Yeah.
Right. To immediately jump to, when there's something that we disagree on, well, I'm going to get immediately defensive about what I believe is my truth and the truth.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And so what is that telling you about yourself and where you are in your journey?
Right. And
why do you feel the need to defend yourself?
Yeah.
Where does that come from?
And these are questions to ask ourselves in that moment, because we all react differently when the heat is turned up.
Yeah.
I mean, some people lash out, some people shrink back, some people handle situations with grace and with patience. And our reactions / responses in the moment of conflict really sheds light on our EQ, our emotional intelligence.
Yes, big time.
And also on our ability to empathize. How, empathy is a wonderful word. Empathy just means I can put myself in the position of somebody else.
And taking it a step farther, even to on a spiritual level, right, is to recognize empathy means that I recognize that we really truly aren't separate. We're so much so on the same team that what I do to you, I do unto me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's the spectrum of empathy that I hope we all, over the course of lifetimes get to develop.
It's interesting. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And even the teacher that gave us that said, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said, it's easy to be kind and patient and understanding with those people you love.
Sure.
Or another way to say that is when things are going smooth, right?
Yes.
When things are going my way. But what about when I'm faced with disagreement? What about when I'm faced with tension? Well, that's when the real us steps up, steps forward. So observe how anybody reacts during a heated argument or a stressful situation, and it gives you a glimpse into the authentic self, far removed from the carefully maintained social persona that we all, that we all put forth.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to be careful of, again, saying that it reveals the authentic self. What it reveals is the authentic
where you are now.
Lowercase s self.
Yeah.
It indicates where you are in the cleaning and clearing of your own ego,
Right.
perhaps.
And
consciousness.
hopefully, we're all on that journey to some degree. If you're a regular listener to the program, I mean, you already know we talk about it a lot here. And, but we got to remember, I think, and put into perspective, we're all human. And so, we all have our off days.
Absolutely.
We all have our off moments. We all have our off weeks and months or periods, seasons of our life. So, what we're looking for here as you go through all of these with us and imagine all of these, it's the pattern. It's the patterns over time.
Not the singular.
Not the singular events.
Yes.
But it's the patterns that truly reveal our character, our true nature. And so really that's what we want to, that's what we want to focus on. We're just about to break time. Let me give some of these others, and then we're going to come back and unpack them.
Okay.
The next one we're going to talk about is handling failure. How do we handle failure? And the next one after that, we're going to talk about dealing with change. And then we're also going to talk about when faced with someone's success. And we're going to talk about moments of vulnerability. And, finally, dealing with criticism, because we all have that. And then, how do we deal under pressure? Talking about, talking about situations in life today where our true colors come out, according to psychology. Considering and unpacking that, here with you today on Strategies for Living. Got more to come. Stay with us. More to unpack. We'll be right back. Hey, let's talk about the Robinson Film Center. I say it a lot. There's no place like the Robinson.
Absolutely, there is not.
617 Texas Street, downtown Shreveport. You've got so much. You got the movies. You got Abby Singer's Bistro on the second floor of RFC, open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Saturday.
Newly remodeled.
Absolutely. Great menu. RobinsonFilmCenter.org is the way you check it all out. You can go to RobinsonFilmCenter.org at any time and find out what movies are showing. Here's the deal. You want to join the crowd, join the fun, become a member. When you become a member, you become a star. You get discounts on movies, you get concession upgrades, you get bistro deals. RFC, 617 Texas Street in downtown Shreveport. I'll say it again. There's no place like the Robinson.
There is not, and I'm glad we have one right here.
Absolutely. The RobinsonFilmCenter.org.
Reading begins not in the classroom, but in your child's brain. I'm Donisa Walker with Learning RX Shreveport. If your child struggles to read, maybe he or she has trouble focusing or comprehending, Learning RX Shreveport offers a science solution to reading problems, working one-on-one with your child, targeting his or her reading skills. Today, call Learning RX Shreveport. Make an appointment to have your child assessed. I know you want to help your child, so does Learning RX Shreveport.
Facing the same old problems day to day makes you want a hard get away. Looking for the road that'll get me there. Looking for hope and peace to spare. Looking for strategies. Strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio.
Oh, we all want those strategies, right?
I like that emphasis.
Yeah. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. Lauren Leon McMillian, David McMillian. We are considering today situations in life where our true colors come out, according to psychology. We've already talked about moments of conflict. What about handling failure? Because again, this is something that you live long enough.
How a person
you're going to stumble. All of us do.
How a person handles failure says a lot about the stories and the beliefs that they have within themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
these moments of defeat can be where our true colors come to the surface. I can't help but thinking about what many people consider Abraham Lincoln as one of the 3 to 5 great presidents, right?
yes.
Because he saved the Union. And, if you look at all, and I'm not a Lincoln scholar by any means, but I've read a bit about Abraham Lincoln. In fact, working on a book right now about him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's striking that politically, Mr. Lincoln, and in some other parts of his life, if you looked at him from the outside before he was president, a lot of people would say, that old Abe can't do anything right. I mean, he lost most every election. He got elected to the House of Representatives from Illinois for one term, but he came back and, we think of the famous Lincoln-Douglas debates.
Mm-hmm.
That was when he ran for the Senate, the United States Senate, and he lost that race.
Right.
Now, he came back and won, and became the 16th president of the United States, as we know, and he beat the same guy. He beat Douglas again. But if I'm remembering correctly, I think I'm remembering my history correctly. But he lost an incredible number of elections and so at any point in time, a lot of people would have said, well, politics is running for election isn't meant for me.
Mm-hmm.
I just give up.
Right.
Thank goodness old Abe didn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I have to chuckle because I'm thinking of another president who showed a very different mindset around failure.
Yeah.
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 But that's what it does. When we face quote unquote failure or something unfolds differently than how we expected, what it can reveal to us is our character.
Yep.
Our mindset, whether that's, a growth or a fixed mindset.
Yeah.
And
are you passed over for, maybe a promotion at work? You didn't get it. Somebody else that you don't think was as deserving as you got it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you let that consume you? Do you let that allow you to become resentful and bitter? Or do you take the opportunity and say, well, let me get some feedback. Let me work on the areas where apparently I fell short and use the experience to fuel my determination rather than diminish it.
In other words, am I going to take responsibility and own what this opportunity has presented to me, or am I going to point the finger out? Am I going to blame others?
Right. How any of us responds to failure can tell you a lot about their character. Mm-hmm. Wallowing in self-pity. We all know that. We all know that feeling. Maybe we've done it ourselves. Or picking ourselves up and moving forward. Mm-hmm. Hopefully we all know that too.
Yeah.
Because it's when we're looking at this stuff, again, we're not talking about being perfect. We're talking about how we respond.
Right. The beauty in all of these is that in each of these instances, if you observe yourself or someone else, the way that they respond to these particularly challenging environments or events or experiences in life, the way from your observation, as long as you observe it from a non-judgmental point of view, you have the opportunity to change that, should you wish.
Absolutely.
Right? And so it just gives you a baseline for, man, I caught myself, when this didn't go my way, I caught myself in a lot of self-pity and a lot of anger towards other people. What am I telling myself that's creating that within me?
Right.
And then where would I rather that be shifted? How can I make this into a moment where I learn and grow and become more resilient?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Another area that brings out the true colors is dealing with change.
Mm-hmm.
It really, and it's interesting because what's the only constant in life?
Change.
Change, yeah, of course. And a lot of people absolutely thrive on it, but there's also a lot of us who resist it. And I mean, every step of the way we resist it. And how we handle change is an indicator of, what we're calling our true colors. According to psychology, those who adapt to change without resistance often possess traits of flexibility and resilience. And, we talk a lot about resilience. We talk a lot about the process of the adaptive process, right?
Yes.
And, people who do that, people who are flexible and flex tend to have a positive outlook on life. And they believe in themselves. They believe in their ability to tackle whatever comes your way.
So I think a lot of these, but especially with your dealing with change, is going to have a lot to do with your upbringing, right? And how you were, one, modeled how to adapt to change, and two, how secure, how consistent your environment was growing up, and then up to the point where you are now, right? How have you handled that?
Right.
And so it's one of those areas where maybe not the way you respond to change is not necessarily your fault. It's all that you've been shown, but it is now your responsibility.
It's now your responsibility, and you can look at that and you can forgive yourself and anybody else that was involved. And you can say, what do I want to do now? And let's go. Yeah,
because I think a lot of dealing with change is going to, if you have an issue with handling change, I think that's going to have to do with your locus of control, right? Where you see your control being, and if you're trying
is that outside of me or is it inside of me?
And are you trying to outstretch to places where you can't control, right? Which a lot of change we can't control in our life.
Right.
It's going to have to do with that, and maybe your sense of identity and security and who you are and your ability to handle things.
But broadly, people who were more accepting of change were also more likely to show pro-social behaviors, things like helping others and being empathetic. So the next time you or somebody around you is faced with a significant change, tune in to how it's handled, and it might just reveal, your, where you are right now, and give you, like we've been saying, where do I want to be? Because we all need maps.
How am I at handling change?
You are here. Okay, well, I'm here. Where do I want to be?
Right.
Another area, interestingly, that brings out our true colors is when we're faced with somebody else's success. So, and this is interesting because how we respond or react to the success of others, are we genuinely happy and supportive, or do we show resentment? Do we show signs of jealousy?
Yeah.
It's so easy to be supportive when someone's going through a tough time, right?
Yeah.
So we're often taught to be there for people in the moments of need. But what about flipping that? Can we celebrate with them when they succeed?
Right.
Yeah.
And
I think that's an important question to ask myself. How do I respond to other people's success? And this is maybe especially, Lauren, when it surpasses what I evaluate as my own success.
Sure. Yeah. When I think someone is doing better than me, quote unquote. Right.
There was a study that found that people who can genuinely rejoice in the success of others without feeling threatened or envious have higher levels of self-esteem, and they're more secure in their own abilities. So, what we may want to do is the next time you notice somebody basking in glory, observe and tune in, what is my immediate feeling, reaction internally, right?
And what this is going to say, I think, is going to kind of tease out your level, your perceived level of separation.
What do you mean?
And what I mean by that is if we are truly coming from a level of consciousness where we recognize that we are all one, and that therefore when someone else does better, I do better because of it.
Right.
If that's the case, then when someone else is successful or happy or experiencing joy, we will reflect that back because we recognize that as someone else does better, so do we. Okay.
Yeah.
But if that someone else's success stirs up any sort of resentment or jealousy or negative kind of detached emotion, what that is signifying is that, okay, I'm still operating from some level of separateness. I'm operating from some level of scarcity where I think that if someone else has something, I can't have it.
It's not available to me now.
Right.
Yeah. And
right.
and again, your perspective, coming from a perspective of oneness means everybody's got everything, but coming from a different perspective, oh, well, if you got it, then I can't have it. Right?
Yeah.
And that's a very, very good point. We are looking today at situations that bring forth our true colors, according to psychology. We're given an opportunity to look at ourselves today here on Strategies. We've got more to come, more to learn. We'll be back. Stay with us.
From the bayou to your table, we're keeping it alive with flavors from the family passed down to survive. The Godfather's here with a twist in the tail. Alligator Italian sausage, and it sure won't fail. It's the boss of the bayou, a taste you can't refuse. Italian tradition, Cajun infused. Godfather sausage, bold and true. The Padres bringing the bayou to you.
Get the Godfather Alligator Italian Sausage only at Fertitta's Delicatessen, 1124 Fairfield Avenue in Shreveport. Pick up a Muffy while you're there. The Godfather Alligator Italian Sausage. It's a taste you can't refuse. Sold only at Fertitta's, 1124 Fairfield Avenue in Shreveport. Dealing with stress, pain, feel like you're running out of options? When your life is balanced, wellness is a given. True wellness is holistic. It's about the mind, the body, and the spirit, all in balance. Now, there's a place right here in Shreveport that's all about helping us achieve peak mental, emotional, and physical health. The Balanced Life, 117 Kings Highway, right next door to Strawn's. Come see and feel the difference getting your life in balance can be. Many of your friends and neighbors have already learned the difference less stress and pain mean in their lives. You can book a discovery session right now online, thebalancedlife.us. All you've got to lose is stress, pain, or maybe both. Come see and feel for yourself the real difference balanced wellness makes. The Balanced Life Wellness Center, 117 Kings Highway in Shreveport, next door to Strawn's, thebalancedlife.us.
We all have problems every day. We all need help along the way. We need strategies for living radio.
And welcome back into Strategies for Living Radio. Lauren Leon McMillian, David McMillian, glad you're with us as we consider those situations that bring forth our true colors. What is, not who you really are,
right.
but where you are now. And where do you want to be?
I might reframe that, from situations that bring out your true colors to situations that give you the opportunity to become who you truly are. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it kind of makes me think of the idea of the pearl and the oyster.
Yeah.
Right? Because The pearl is developed from a piece of debris that gets jammed inside the oyster, right?
Yeah.
And what it does is it throws on layers and layers and layers of dirt. I mean, and it goes through all of this turmoil and adversity until it becomes this shining, beautiful pearl that is incredibly valuable in our world. Right?
Yeah.
And so if we can think of these experiences, these events, most of them which do include some level of adversity or resistance, right? As opportunities to layer on and to decide, how am I going to integrate this into the value and allow it to shine up, if you will, who I truly am, who I truly want to be in the world.
Yeah. Another thing that brings forth this opportunity are moments of vulnerability. You know, all of us know and can look back and say, well, that was the lowest point of my life. Maybe we've lost a loved one. Maybe the world as we knew it crumbles around me. The pain is overwhelming and I'm wallowing, right? I'm wallowing in the grief. What do I do? You know, because in those moments of raw vulnerability, who we really are can shine through. Because, you know, do we allow ourselves to be seen in your most vulnerable state? Or do you hide away? Are you afraid of being perceived as weak? You know, there's no right or wrong answer.
Right.
No?
No. No, it's about observing how do you or someone else, how does a person respond to a moment of vulnerability?
Yeah, because again, it can identify my character and my emotional strength right now. And is that what I want? Am I satisfied with that? Or do I want to grow from that?
Right.
You know?
And what I'll say about this is we as a society, and I think we're evolving past this. I see this gradually over time, that we're softening and recognizing the true strength in vulnerability.
Yeah.
But I think what has been the collective societal belief and kind of thought paradigm is that to be vulnerable, it is weak.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's truly not at all the case at all for any of us.
Yeah.
To be vulnerable is the only way that we can see through to each other is through the cracks, through those. Otherwise, we're just seeing the outer facade, and we don't get to touch each other truly until we peek through those cracks of vulnerability within each other. And it takes two.
You're talking intimacy here. Intimacy.
Right. And so it's that ability to, well, in order to touch each other, I have to break through my own vessel, right? I have to be vulnerable with myself and others. And then another person has to also break open and shine the vulnerability with themselves. And then can we reach through the cracks to one another and really touch who we truly are? And that's great strength. Absolutely.
Another area, and this is a biggie for these days, the times we live in, it's dealing with criticism. And criticism, whether it's constructive criticism or something else, is hard. It's hard to swallow. And it's a situation that often brings out, you know, where I am now, my quote unquote true colors. When I'm faced with criticism, you know, what do I do? Do I go into that defensive mode that you were talking about? Do I shut down? And, you know, or do I take it on board? Do I hear it? And use it as a tool for growth? Because, you know, again, there was a study that those who can accept and learn from criticism are more likely to be successful in both their personal and their professional lives. So, and again, I think it is so, I mean, you know, what is social media? Social media, when you stop and think about it, it is, it's a contagious form and way that we can be critical of one another and groups of one another. And so, I mean, you know, again, it just is what it is. And I enjoy my social media. I enjoy looking at Facebook, including, who's saying what about who. But let's just realize, we do need to step back enough and say, and realize, be conscious of what that's doing,
Yeah, well,
within ourselves individually and collectively. The collective consciousness.
And so recognizing that, how am I using social media then as an opportunity to actually recognize how am I taking in this message, and to be sort of protective and teaching towards younger generations using social media to help them to build a strong sense of inner self-worth so that they can take on this information as possible feedback, kind of mull it over against the strength of who they know they are, who we know we are,
right,
and decide from there.
Maybe one of the most revealing situations where, it brings out who we really are right now is under pressure. Mm-hmm. High stress situations just have a way of stripping away pretenses and revealing to ourselves who we are now.
Yeah.
When the stakes are high and the clock's ticking, how we respond speaks volumes about the kind of character that we have. Do we crumble? Do we lash out? Or do we rise? Yeah. Do we rise to the occasion and show composure and strength? Being able to keep a cool head and make rational decisions in high-pressure situations, that's a sign of emotional maturity, big time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it tells us a lot about, who we are right now.
And the inner work that we've done thus far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or point us to
the inner work we need to do.
There's probably some work I need to do. And again, that's what I hope people will come away with today. Not an opportunity to criticize ourselves or one another, but to just say, okay, here I am. Here's where I am right now, honestly. And where do I want to go? Where do I want to be? Am I happy with where I am? Or does this point me, to go get a therapist, go get a coach, go get another self-help book? Because there's a lot of help available out there. And we're talking about that today and more, as we do here every day on Strategies. You're going to see the difference. When you go to Azalea Cleaners, you'll hear about it too. Azalea Cleaners has been fine dry cleaning since 1958, plus laundry, alterations and repairs, comforters, wedding gown cleaning and restoration. You'll hear about it from your friends because they'll see it too. They'll notice the Azalea difference. Azalea is convenient. 732 Azalea Drive, 9220 Ellerby Road, and 9227 Mansfield Road. Plus, the front door of your home or business with Azalea's delivery on demand. Just text SETUP to 249-8283, and Azalea will pick up your clothes and deliver them back clean and fresh to you. You can't get closer than that. That's the Azalea difference. You'll notice it right away. Others will too. The Azalea difference. Fine dry cleaning since 1958. Text SETUP to 249-8283 and get the Azalea difference. AzaleaCleaners.com.
Hi, this is Jay Merle for Pintail Roofing. Let's talk about quality. When you hire Pintail to build your roof, here's what you can expect. Quality and quality control are the most important concerns for us at Pintail, and you need to know that Pintail stands tall with swift and professional performance on any warranty call. This is our most important policy. And remember, we're your neighbors. We'll be here for you for the long haul. Our family's lived here for over 100 years, and we aren't going anywhere. On the commercial side of Pintail's business, our fluid-applied roofing solutions can save thousands of dollars over conventional commercial roofing options. Call Pintail at 226-ROOF for a free inspection of your home or commercial building. That's 226-7663. Pintail Roofing. What's the condition of your roof?
We all have problems every day. We all need help along the way. We need strategies.
Oh, don't we, though? You know, human behavior, it's multifaceted, it's complex,
Multidimensional.
and it's there's a lot of factors that come together that influence it. Welcome back into Strategies for Living, folks. And you know, there are moments of clarity that cut through the noise and can present us with the raw truth. And the situations that we've been talking about today kind of act as mirrors, reflecting, you know, where we are right now, and maybe help us cut through some of that complexity and give us more clarity. So it's not about judging ourselves. It's not about judging anybody else, criticizing ourselves or criticizing anybody else on a single reaction, a single instance.
It's about recognizing.
Yes, recognizing.
Thinking
Let's
again.
rethink it.
Yeah.
And what can we learn? What can we learn from these situations?
Even the way you are responding to this program right now,
Absolutely.
and this information can tell
Absolutely.
you a lot. But as we've presented these tougher, higher stakes situations, really push things to the surface.
We
and
know.
When I hear,
we know sometimes when we hit a chord because we hear from our listeners. Sometimes we get
That's okay.
letters. Sometimes we get cards. But we oftentimes know when we've hit a chord. So we don't.
that's important.
I mean,
That's what we're here to
nothing
do.
ventured, nothing gained.
Yeah.
Lauren, thank you.
Thank you.
Folks, thank you. We appreciate you tuning into Strategies for Living, and we appreciate our sponsors making it all possible. The Robinson Film Center, and Azalea Cleaners, and Pintail Roofing, and Learning RX, and the Balanced Life Wellness Center.
I had to make up.
I know. And Fertitta's Delicatessen, home of the Godfather, alligator Italian sausage, and some wonderful muffies, too. If today were the last day of your life, you only had one more phone call that you could make, who would you call? And what would you say? And why are you waiting? Make that call. For Lauren Leon McMillian, I'm David McMillian. See you next time, right here on Strategies for Living.